everybody. Good afternoon. Made it in today. We have made it here in the building. Oh my goodness. Today sure is going to be like no other. Look at my glasses for me, please. Oh, my lip gloss. I got it in my pocket, I think. Hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everyone. Today is just starting off. Just getting in. I don't think I brought my little stand for today. Even though I could use my laptop, can't I?
Yeah, if you stand it.
Yeah, I know. So lean on it. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me get some people invited to the show. Let me get some people invited to. Oh, okay. Back up in there. Hey everybody, what's going on today? I hope everybody. Where my other glasses at?
The brown ones are super dirty, I thought.
Give me the brown ones instead. So it's 2:57 right now. I hope everybody's having a really good afternoon today. We are in the studio right now. We're about ready to get to launching the show for today. It is, is that good? Yeah, we are about ready to get to launching for today. I hope everybody's doing that. I hope so anyway. I know today has been or this week, let me say that. This week we talked about last week, presidential election. You know, we talked about all of that stuff going on. So I'm really just kind of a little shocked, a little surprised. I know everybody else is. And I hope everybody hasn't been in a mode of feeling, upset, angry over the outcome, even though, everything works together for the good. We know those things. So hopefully we can just organize and be a little bit more diligent about the things that we need to. Don't judge. Don't you dare judge me. Andre talking about my glasses and my glasses strength power. You know I've been wearing glasses since Lord, I don't know. What year was that? 1980 something? Listen, I am not ashamed, and it is what it is at this point. Can't say anything different than that. I've been wearing glasses for. Bree, you online today? You must didn't go to work today. Bree, you must didn't go to work today, I'm assuming. Because you up and on, and up and on, and up and on, and up and on. What is it, 2:59 right now? Dog, Andre? Already? 2:59 already?
We're just making this up as we go along.
Ain't we though?
What's up, y'all? This is your boy, DJ BJ Clark, with the Afterwork.
Hello, everyone. And thanks so much for tuning in today. And you are on live right now with Afternoons with Delight. Thanks so much, I said again, for tuning into me today. I know we've got a lot of different topics to discuss. But right now, let me get to my legal ID. And right now, I say this at the top of every hour. This is WRFU-LP Urbana-Champaign. And WRFU is an open forum for the Champaign-Urbana community. Views expressed are those of the speaker, and they are not intended to represent WRFU, UCIMC. And like I said, thanks so much once again, everyone, for tuning into me today. I hope your day has been going just as beautifully as it possibly can. It's just as beautifully as it possibly can. I know we've been talking a lot last week about the presidential election. And like I said, I will get back on this week and we would have a little bit of a discussion. But right now, let me introduce everybody that's in the studio with me today. Andre's here.
Andre's here.
Andre. There's Leah over there in the corner as per usual. You know, she sits over in a regular seat. But Andre, we got a lot to discuss on today. So, you know, everybody's been talking about it. I mean, we've all cast our vote. We have all cast our vote out here in the world, in the free world of America, as they say. And a lot of things are going on. So what are you thinking, Andre? Let me ask you a question. What has been not your opinion, so to speak, but a lot of people that you know, friends with and things like that online.
Yeah.
What are their opinions about everything that's going on initially? If you could elaborate a little bit.
A lot of people were very amazed by the Mexican turnout, the Latino turnout.
Right.
It was 45% Latino people voted for Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the biggest.
Like a landslide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said he only got 20% last time. Last time he ran. Against Hillary Clinton.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I did not know that, but I'm kind of, I don't know. You know, I'm kind of in a mixed, perplexed kind of setting right now. I'm not saying that, you know, one way or the other. I just kind of felt like this was going to be initially the outpouring and the outburst and the complete, you know, awareness of everything that was going on. I'm not going to say that I was shocked. I mean, if I say that I was shocked, I'd be lying. And somebody that I had spoke to previously to that, I mean, you know, our hope and our goal was for Kamala to get in. But what I'm really, really shocked and amazed by, excuse me, is the amount of aggression towards African American women that were saying that they were in bereavement, or, you know, like their belief was to vote Kamala in, right? I had got so much rebuttal, and I mean, it was verbally aggressive with men. And I am like, for me to be a person that is I can speak to anybody, I can talk to anybody. You know, I've worked in all kind of different facets and facilities regarding with men, but to feel verbally accosted and, you know, almost taken on to the point where, you know, I don't know how that escalated so quickly just because you have a difference of opinion out here.
Right.
You know, I think that's what kind of shocked me the most, Andre.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think it also goes back to her just being a woman.
You know,
And a lot of men didn't want to vote for her because she's a woman.
that's what's, you know, somebody put online the other day, Andre, that did men not go with Harriet Tubman because she was woman?
Maybe so.
That's crazy to me.
Like, I don't think they want to follow a woman leader.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I really don't, and I'm kind of perplexed by that a little bit, Andre. I really am.
I really thought it was going to be a lot closer than what it was.
Right.
He like won by like a landslide, pretty much.
Right. That's what I heard. Right. But like I said, I have never been more shocked, to say the least, in my life. I don't even know where to go from that. You know what I'm saying? I felt really like we weren't even considering the fact of things being in a different mindset and perspective. And I know everybody had their opinions about what Donald Trump did for you. As much as he's giving you a $1,200 stimulus check, and that was like a big kicker for a lot of people, right?
And it wasn't even him; it was the House who voted on that.
Right. But you know, everybody has their opinion. So I'm wondering, the hate spew that has come from him, right? The total separation that he is embarking on for the American people, is that the voice of a lot of people?
Yeah.
Are a lot of people feeling that we should be separate with no equality?
Yeah.
I was stunned and shocked and amazed that after he was doing things in a perverse manner on the microphone at one event that he was at, right? That people would actually, after that, get up and vote for him.
Yeah. Well, that's the way they grew up too.
What do you mean?
That's not that been that long. It's not been that long since segregation and all that.
True.
That's his generation. That's the generation of people in Congress and.
True, Andre. That is so sad.
Like we didn't see that coming. Like these are people that are voting.
Yeah.
American men are down with American men. They stick together.
Yeah, that's true. And this has shown and proven us time after time after time.
I think it's going to be a little different, but it's too many of them.
Man, Andre.
We are the minority.
We truly are, and I try to, I don't even think that this voting thing is fair, especially to people of color. When you look at the numbers of it, like we will never be able to solely and fully pull out numbers in the great magnitude that Caucasian people can pull out numbers. And there's no way, because you know why? We're not the majority.
Yeah.
And if we're only, 13 to 15% of the population, right? That's like 43 million people.
Yeah, but then half of that can't even vote.
True. Over half of that can't even vote because of felonies and different things like that. And then yet we can elect a president with felonies. So then that makes that mark of as like this, Andre. Then why are we putting this and leaving this on a lot of job applications?
Right.
If our president now
he doesn't even have to respond to that now since he's president-elect. Those charges go away.
See, this is where we have like really, really skewed and altered understandings, right, of what this all entails, because there are so many different things that we're thinking and that could potentially affect the American people. But what American people is it affecting for their benefit, right? Because African American people, based on just a lot of scenarios that we've been subjected to and up under, there's no way that we're gonna just get our records just wiped clean.
Right.
Without it being a fight. So then who does the law and the systems really work for?
Right.
The
law, plus you have to pay the fees to get it wiped.
True.
Who has that money?
True. Because then you're talking about even Land of Lincoln aid, Land of Lincoln legal aid. I mean, they could assist and help you do a lot of different things, but it is really hard out here right now. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have fell up under, this spell, because I feel like it's just like we're being spellbound by a lot of things on a lot of hopes and dreams that I'm just really, really anticipating the next 4 years. I really am, just to see if he can meet the people who aggressively voted for him, meet all of their needs.
Yeah.
That's I love to see the effort of this man meet the needs. And I mean, and we're not even talking about on the broad spectrum of making things whole for minorities, right? Because we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Because that will not be a situation or a place in time where I feel like anybody could actually make that whole for us, unless we're talking about a revision of laws, policies, different things like that would go into effect. You know, we have to restructure our whole judicial system as to how people look at you. And then, we were just talking on the way in about, looking safe and being a person of color, right?
Right.
Because you have like a lot of different people that'll look at you and they'd be like, oh, he's a safe person that I can go and talk to. Versus, if you had your hood pulled over your head, if you were walking with your pants sagging down, if you know what I'm saying,
Right.
if you had, but I was like, the look of being a minority is threatening to people.
And how that don't even make sense. You're a minority. Why are you threatened by?
Andre, it doesn't make any sense, and I feel like, we have been given this stigma for so long. At this point in time in our lives, and like we're getting to the latter portion of our lives, right? Over 45, 50, you're in that realm, right? In our great age group, me and you. So I'm just talking about me and you right now. But for the people that are in that age group between their 40s and their 50s, I'm wondering, like, what are they seeing out here with racial disparity treatment? You know what I'm saying? As we're getting older, do you feel like it's more lax with us? Do you feel like it's more heavier with us? Are the numbers correlating to where people in their latter 40s or their 40s or 50s are going to jail at a larger rate as well as younger people?
Yeah. Or do you even look at, like, when we were younger, it was stronger. To me, anyway. Now it seems like it's died down, but for some people it may not have died down.
True. Because I don't really see it dying down, Andre. I don't. And then the ways and the means of how, we can make a living versus, like I tell you stories about, my family and friends that I have that are working in different industries and they, not be treated equally on the jobs that they have, right? And I think that's a big one right there too, is that, you don't get the equal, like right now, I mean, the biggest thing that I feel like we could be working towards is for equal pay, equal anything, equal hiring rates, equal education.
Advancements.
Man, I'm telling you, complete advancements towards how do we make this a level playing field that we can come out and feel like, well, you know what? I feel like I can actually make a difference or a dent in my life and in my family's life. And I don't think, from how I'm seeing it, from how I'm looking on the other side of this, I don't see it really happening like that for us often. You know what I mean? Which is really the kind of thing that really could be the most effective way to make change, is to create a systematical structure for, people of color to be on equal playing fields. Even though we're going to school, like minority women are going to school at, substantial rates, are getting their education, are, you know what I'm saying? They're obtaining the homes and the cars. But one failing portion of that, Andre, is we're not the family unit.
Right. Yeah.
You can have all of those things, Andre, but nobody is really talking about how it's affecting the family unit. Because once you can break down the male of the minority culture, we're talking about African American men, once you can break that barrier of feeling like they're an inadequacy instead of a necessity,
Right.
that's where we end up with a lot of problems. And you can't, I can totally understand if I was to look at it from the viewpoint of a male, right? If I was to look at it from the viewpoint of a male, they're already, especially the minority men, the African American men out here in society, they're already looked at and perceived to be inadequate.
Right.
So then now you want a woman that is really under me. So they think, right? A lot of men think that. Is that I'm not supposed to be over a woman. You know, a woman is not supposed to be over me. I'm supposed to be over a woman, right? So you think about them thinking that this is an inadequacy or a deficit, you know? Because at that point in time, they're already escalating and giving women accolades and giving African American women accolades over them. That could be
double trigger.
Man.
So now you're mad at the woman,
right,
for succeeding, and you're mad at society,
right.
So,
that's a double whammy.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like, where do I even fit into this arena, right? Because not only we don't see, Barack Obama was like, I call him a fluke of nature. You know what I mean? I call him a fluke of nature because what other man could have been promoted in that situation to where we actually, our African American young men could be like, wow, you know, he escalated to the presidency. Now I could see myself being a president right now, you know. But when Kamala Harris came into play, I really don't even know, Andre, any more than that. Do they feel like, hey, you know, I can see myself being her. But like she was so fickle with her racial background, it really infuriated other things in me as well, because I'm like, you're not fully taking on who you are. So how are our girls out here right now even going to be comfortable with expressing like who I am, you know, what I stand for, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. But like I said, in the nature of this beast, because that's what it is, Andre. In the nature of this beast, it's like everybody should, but we don't get that, Andre. We don't get that. You know, we don't get a big, massive following of people that would even.
Now, if it was like Michelle Obama or
yeah,
you know, Beyonce.
Oh my God! Andre, they show up to that concert. Woo! They would show up for that, you know. But that's the thing, Andre. How do we get, you know, how do we get that back? You know?
And we still was divided on Kamala just because of that. So we divided and they conquered it.
Right. That's a real travesty that we have amongst ourselves. If we can actually finally figure out the time and the span to initially work together, we could accomplish so much. You know, they've got this poll thing out right now lately. It's something cast out to be a no work Friday, right? Where everybody does not show up for work, right? And then like the person that initially posted this was like, well, what are they going to do if we don't show up for work? You know, and this will trigger a complete trickle down effect if you think about it, because at that point in time, Andre, we would be able to embark and get the things and bring about some type of attention. But I mean, it would have to be more than a no work Friday. Yeah. You know, it would have to go longer than just a short amount of time period. And let me figure out if I can do this. You, Damien, I am the president, Emma. But, you know, you could figure out a lot of different things with a lot of different people. And I think we will get a little bit further in what we want to do if we all learn to stick together. But that is...
You got to stick together first. And missing one day of work, that can make or break.
Yeah, that
break the whole family.
Andre, that and it would. But until we have, you know, I talked about this before, until we have like everything that we need set into place. So I'm talking about we operate under the umbrella where we have our doctors lined up if we need medical care. We have our teachers lined up if we need our students to be taught. It would be so many different things that we could facilitate and move on. But we can't manage to do it in synchronized motion. You know, and that's where I find is the struggle. I love the fact that, it's a possibility, though, because I could see definitely coming into a wavelength and a time where this be more than us just, just waiting on somebody to give us the resolution and the right answers. And we have people finally put together that we could work together and we could pull off a lot of different things, I find that once, at least once in my lifetime, I would love to see it. I would really love to see it. But I find like yesterday, there was so many negative, it was just a complete negative vibe. And even though you feel kind of frustrated about the events of what happened and how he got reelected, the mannerisms that people spoke to one another was just so high with hatred yesterday. Right. I'm shocked. I mean, literally, I don't even know how our parents, when our parents voted, during Reagan era, right? What was the feeling and what was the vibe of the people during that time period? Like, I wonder about that a lot of times because I'm just like...
Yeah, we need to look up voting charts and how many people actually did vote back then.
Right.
Or could vote. Because, they took...
That's when the crack cocaine epidemic hit.
But it still was separate. It still was separate back then, too.
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody policing the polls back then like that.
No, not like that. Not like they were now. Not like to the magnitude and the degree that we are up under right now. I just find a lot of things to have no real merit and value to the level that it really should be because it's so disingenuous. Like, I really think they're only catering a lot of different things that we see to a specific person, right? And they're not trying to target all the different areas, just like even when people have elections throughout the community. I don't think that they really do active research of how to connect, how to make a community be better, other than them wanting so much so to get that vote. Right. I want this vote, so I'm gonna go to this church. And because I'm telling you that I'm a Christian, you'll put me in the limelight, you'll put me up in a pew, you'll even pray for me, but I'm not telling you anything that I'm going to do strategically to help
your situation.
Not at all. Not at all. Not elevate the systematical dysfunction that we live in. I want somebody to honestly be like, you know what? I could get you guys better jobs if I meet with all the employers at the table and we decide, they have to hire so many. And if this, the truth be told, right? Because, if we're going to if we talk about Project 2025, and I know a lot of people have heard about it, but I really don't think a lot of people have read it. To that magnitude, because so many things will be disseminated from the infrastructure that we're up under right now that I don't know where to go with this, right? Because let me round back to what I was saying is if a lot of people don't understand, not having that DEI, that diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Not having that even being forced upon your jobs or in your school settings means that we don't need to have a certain amount of people of color employed or going to school, right? So we don't have a certain amount of people employed that are minorities. We don't have a certain amount of people that are going to school that can even, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter, And I think a lot of that was fair to a degree, but, after they've met their 5 or their 10 that they're supposed to let in the door.
Then they get the grant from the federal government.
Right. And then my point is, when does anybody who, if you came in and you're number 11 after the 10th person and nobody sees your talent or your worth, right? Because that's what we're talking about. Those venues or those avenues of employment and education and quality being taken away from us. you'll not be able to show your worth if you're number 11. You'll not be able to even, and then you're reduced or you're forced to go and work in a job or a situation that's below your means. And then you get into that sector and that mindset of thinking, you know what, I'm not really even worth anything. So you constantly find yourself failing until we can get to a place and a point where we have equality, and it isn't anything to do with your color, you know, because I don't even think we're there at all, Andre. Why is it the fact that I have to fill out an application, and when I fill out an application, I have to put my color on the application, right? What did Chaz say? Chaz said Democrats unfortunately don't have a great track record of actually doing anything they said to black voters after they got that vote, but yet consistently voting the same way just because of how their grandparents did, etc. Think for yourselves and vote based on the results or the merit instead of just the way it's always been. I feel what you're saying, Chad. And if anybody's asking or wondering where I'm getting this information from, I go live on Facebook, like I've told you before, many times when we're having this. And I agree with what you're saying, Chad. But unfortunately, even with Republicans, you know, a lot of situations that we go through, even with Republicans, and you're a black voter, you're not necessarily going to get favoritism from them as well. So it's like we're all completely at a loss. And then most of the time, Republicans, when they do assign different things, when they do pass different legislation, it is extremely harsh to minorities.
And they have the House and the Senate.
And now they got the House and the Senate, Chad, you know? So a lot of people don't think that has any effect or any bearing on us, but it does. And even though Democrats haven't, you know, had their best appeal, and somebody tried to get in back and forth with me and Andre just had this discussion coming on in, you know, I'm not Democrat or Republican, you know, and I like to view myself as an independent voter and an independent thinker, because things from the right or the left don't really necessarily sway me. So, you know, a lot of things, you know, it's just complex out here right now. And Chad said, need to vote each vote based on each person's researching. I agree with you, Chad. You know, I do totally agree with you, but it is a lot. Get Republicans to create laws for you by lobbying for results. Chad, we understand what the lobbying and everything does, but it doesn't necessarily get you what you're looking for. You know, and I've been lobbying. I've been with Paul Faraci in the office over there. So it's not like we're not understanding the legislative process. But like I said, when you get conversations back and forth, you know, and they don't see the validity in actually doing what they think would benefit people of color, because that's a lot of it, Chad. You know, unfortunately, we live in a world where, you know, I don't think necessarily the minority vote, the black vote, really does not count, because it's such not an unlevel playing field, with the white vote being the majority. You know, we're not on an equal playing field out here. If we're only 13 to 15% of the population, and that's not a level playing field. So why would the votes even matter if we already know that the white vote would sway it? That's the real question, you know? So, I've seen the results that show black voters stepped up on that, but that's what I'm saying, Chad. But if you've got less than 13 to 15% of the population that's out here in America right now that is minority, that is black, considered black, African American, right? And the rest of the voters are, you know, Latino, Caucasian, Asian. You got the rest of them swaying to the right, swaying to the Republican side most of the time, because very seldomly do you have Latinos vote Democratic. So now you're talking about the influx. We're talking even about, what was it? them coming in over the borders, right? So in the next 2 years or 2 decades, the majority of voters that will be coming in from the borders will be Latino, and the majority of the voters will vote Republican. But nobody talked about that, and they say that, Biden, him and his whole party, and, that he allowed this Mexican, or not just Mexican, but just any foreigners to come in, and even from the southern borders and different things like that, right? So he said, everybody's talking about like Biden did this, Biden did it. No, he didn't. If the first person that you remember started this whole thing, it was Donald Trump. But if you understand how things are looking forward, I mean, he was so resistant to it, yet he was allowing it. He was so resistant to it, yet he allowed it. So then when Biden got in office, now it's Biden's problem. But initially that started with Donald Trump. So, but if you really look at the politics and how they can swing that in the next couple of decades, or even in the next decade, you know what I'm saying? You'll see that that'll be a Republican dominance that's coming in right now. Chad said the board has IDs laying everywhere. Yeah. Why? Chad said, why hide who comes in, and why don't these people want to see who they are? Yeah, Chad. It's scary. Right now, we're living in a nation and a time right now where things are going to be changed to a degree that we won't even be able to recognize where we are. My forward thinking experience in this, and we all are Christian faith, and we all believe in the Bible. And if you believe in the Bible, you understand that revelations had to happen. And if we think about the continuation of things that are about to come, and the things that are even happening in the world now, if Donald Trump gets up in office and says that I'm going to bring peace to the world.
It's already said it's going to pull out. It's going to pull out Israel and Ukraine.
He already said that I'm going to get Israel and Ukraine to have peace on day one, or to stop on day one.
Day one.
How you going to do that?
He's going to take away all the funds.
I know.
And
I know he's going to take away everything. So that's oh my God. Ain't fixing that. So you're saying Trump's going to ruin us, even though in 2016 he fixed the economy. He did not fix the economy, Chad.
He came in after.
If you understand how politics and policies work, it's already the residuals that you end up coming in is off of another president's. Like we play into, he didn't resolve anything. And then if you think about this, everybody keeps talking about, and I'm not going to go back and forth on the campaign trail because I already been on back and forth with people about their political vote. You voted the way you wanted to. I voted the way I wanted to. I got my opinion. You have your opinion, and you got every right to it. But what I'm saying is, there are so many other things that don't affect you, that affect me, that were not done in accordance to how I would have saw somebody benefit us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really, in a realm where I'm going to spend 30 minutes or 40 minutes going back and forth about it. But I'm just explaining the narrative of how things have worked. Nothing that any president has came in and done has been fair or equal to us, period. Nothing. We're still getting the ones that are getting gunned down in the streets. We're still the ones with massive incarcerations. And like I told people before, I go into the courthouses and I sit and I can see the judges delegating sentencing between white and black on completely different scales, right? Completely different. Like they're not committing the same crime, even though they can be a person that never committed one crime or, anything like that, right? I just, like I explained a couple of weeks ago, Chad, I said that I saw a man get sentenced to 18 months probation, but had enough explosives to blow up a whole city block. But it was a young man that came in with a bullet who got sentenced to 3 years in prison. So what I'm saying is, We're not getting things played out in the minority and the African American community that are beneficial to us from any president. So, I mean, any elections that we do, and this is internally, so this is within our streets, right? But if these things aren't being resolved within our streets, but it's okay for somebody to have use like so gunned down on the streets while cops are on their own people. That's not, you know what? We're the only community that they say is black on black crime, but when a white person kills a white person, it's not called white on white crime. Why is that? You know, so there are so many different dynamics I could go into, but I you know what? I'm not really choosing to go all the way there. But I know the unfairness because I sit in courtrooms and watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see, like, I've not heard anybody get up on this platform or get up and debate with me to tell me they've been sitting in the courtrooms and watching how sentencing goes. They've not told me anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of different things that we're battling at the street level because they're forcing us to battle this at a street level. You know? And I think we should be a type of persons that could come out and be like, we want some systematical structure change. Everybody keeps talking about pumping money into you know, different programming, but what are the programming really directing? You know, we don't have programming in prisons to help inmates when they get out. But yet we've got programming for everything else. I mean, there are so many different disparaging treatments that go on around and within this city, you know? So it's like, really, what are we doing? You know, do we really want to make it better? Because if we made it better, and like I keep saying, Chad, we can go back and forth on political views and what one party did for another all the time. But the thing is, it's like I'm not really concerned about one party or the other unless that party or the other has validity in talking about what they're going to do for collectively as a whole for African American individuals. Because we're still not seen and looked at on a fair basis. I don't care what you do. I've worked in 18 different jobs and I left based on the fact that nobody will promote you because they're comfortable with your work ethic, but yet they don't want to ascend and take you to another higher level. You know, they don't want you to do better and receive more funding and for your pocketbook, but they want you to work 2 and 3 jobs just so you can, and one job that they pay you for, they want you to do the jobs of many, but not pay you for your effort of doing nothing. And I've sat here in this community in Champaign, Illinois, and I've worked, like I said to you all before, I've worked about 18 jobs. After I get to 1 year in one job, I'm going back up to my supervisor. I ask my supervisor, can you elevate me a little bit more? They want you to stay in the bare minimum. And this is in the bare minimum of your living situation so that you can always stay in areas they don't want you to be in. And if nobody believes it, that's another sense of redlining, right? So if you don't want me to be in a better job, to make more money, to go in a better community so that my kids can go to a better school, what are you doing to me? How is that fair? How is that fair at all?
It's repeating the cycle. So now my kids got to go to the same job that I just been to.
You don't want to elevate. This is my thing. You don't want to elevate us up. You know what I'm saying? And I can sit here and honestly tell you that. Yeah, we have no find something that works. I know I promoted people that are black when I was a supervisor. Let me tell, and that's what I'm telling you, Chad. You know I'm telling you. Chad just said the same thing. He got flack for promoting people in position, but you see how this all goes hand in hand, Chad. It goes from our schooling, it goes from our jobs, it goes from everything. And if you're not privileged, if you're not a person of privilege, right?
And I multiply that by like millions of times because this is just one scenario. That's short.
Right.
It happens everywhere.
Right. Chad, I sat in a job and CL Robinson said, yep, you're right. But let me tell you, I sat in different jobs on multiple occasions where I could call names out right now on this air and was told, like, you know what, you're doing a great job. Well, I'm going to keep you in that job because, I don't want you to.
Nobody else.
No, it's not even that they don't want to train us up. It's the fact of, you don't want me to do any better. You don't want me to do any better. So this is a personal vendetta that you have. And like you just said, Andre, think about this in the millions and the millions, right? So we're all stuck in places that we always felt like, and this is why I wanted to do the radio show, Chad. It's because I can say things. People may have attitude what I say because they done already tried to blackball me in this community, and I don't have a problem with it. I sleep well at night, but I'm just telling you, people will try to keep you in the trap of just in a survival mindset, and then what do you think that does? With our anxiety level. So now, and fighting amongst ourselves, they want to keep people down. I understand that completely, but they keep you in that mindset of now. You know what? I gotta survive. So you're not able to go out and have picnics with the children if you're worrying about where we gonna get our next meal from next week. You're not able to
quit. Just say I quit and go somewhere else.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't just say I can quit. Because now you got responsibilities as children. Your children, either you're taking care of mom and dad, they're sick, you know what I'm saying? You got all these different responsibilities, but I can only speak, like I'm telling you, from an African American female's perspective with mixed culture heritage, right? Because I got Indian, my grandfather was a Blackfoot Indian. You know what I'm saying? We came from different nationalities of persons, but I'm telling you, once you get up under a stigma in a community, that is the stigma that they will forever hold you at, and they don't want to elevate you because you know what that means, that you and I would be equal. If I was the next door neighbor living out here in Boulder Ridge or in, the great location, Cherry Hills, or anything like that, that goes against a lot of people's forte. They don't want that, because you're paying for your exclusivity, right? And that's what you see and find a lot here. If you are not a person. And I'm not saying that there aren't well-to-do African-American people out here in the community. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is they want you few and far between because it's a mannerism of control. So if you can understand that, listen.
Yeah, 'cause there's not a whole block of people living in Cherry Hills. It's like one here, one on the other side.
Yeah, Yeah. Chad said, same child of God, just different containers of our spirit. Right. But Chad, when you see most of the time, you wonder why somebody elevates to the position that they elevate in life to. A lot of people, I can use myself. I use myself as the best example. Like I literally came from nothing. I raised my children on literally nothing. But yet, you know what? I thought to myself, I always knew I was more than. And a lot of people will not understand that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to constantly fight to get to the position in life and become more than within yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand. I've always had a faith in God. I've always, had my supreme thought process and being, it wasn't within God. But yet and still, you find out a lot of times, Chad, that people, just because they believe in the same God that you do, or so you think they believe in the same God as you, will not help and assist you to get you to a different level if you're a minority person. And this is a battle that we constantly fight. I know people that are on the University of Illinois campus right now today who get treated like trash but are either professors and different people in positions of power, but get spoken to by people that are not their same skin color, like they are less than, even though they are highly accredited, got high achievements and standards, get spoken to like they are children or less than dirt. You know what I'm saying? So at what particular time do you feel like it's appropriate for these different things to be addressed? I've sat in jobs where I've done the work of multiple people, right? Multiple people, and my superior would come to me and be like, I'm not going to elevate you, or, and I sat and watched them elevate women in my same field who didn't even have a degree or the education, but they promoted them because they weren't my color. I've never called off work from jobs. Never had bad rapport, nothing. But I'm telling you, this is the world that we live in, Chad, and which is why I'm speaking on this quite frequently with you right now, is that I love the engagement that you're having, but unless you've walked in this shoe, it's kind of hard to explain it, because a lot of people think we're just making this stuff up, and I get that a lot of times. It's like, well, it wasn't so bad, or, how are you going to tell me what's so bad? And then when we start to act out, then we're looked at as being aggressive, right? Now you're the aggressor on the job. Yeah. But after you've done work, job after job after job, and been told, no, not this time. No, you're not going to get this reward. No, you're not going to excel. No, you can't feed your kids the same way. No, you can't put your kids in karate. No, you can't go to that high school or that college, or no. After you've been told no so many times, what do you think I'm going to do?
Right. Yeah. Just like in the factory business. I've done everything in the factory business. Shipping, receiving, assembler, packing boxes, everything. But did I get any raises? No, it's all the same.
Wow.
It's all the same.
And I'm like, at what point in time do you feel like, you know what, I've done my best? Right. Like, Lord, what else can I do right now? What else can I do right now? And I don't think a lot of people understand that unless you've been a person that actually had to walk in these shoes. Right. It has been very, very difficult being the polite or the mediocre or the, setback, or you're always calm when it comes to wanting and deserving. Let me say that. Right. When you deserve to be at the table with a lot of people in a lot of positions and get those raises and get those opportunities to advance, but you have a whole complete world yet of people, right, who want to sit up here and tell you that, no, you can't be at the table with us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a part of this group, of this dynamic. You won't get those accolades. You won't get it because you're a minority. You won't. And I don't care how many people can go back and forth with me online. A lot of us have lived this and are still living it every single day. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Torme. A lot of us are still living this every single day. And it's the biggest struggle to be steadfast, and unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. Because sometimes you want to work listen. Sometimes you get to the frustration of just being like, I'm tired. Right. When is somebody going to see my worth? But then we're talking about dealing with people who are just people. Because they say they can be a Christian all day long. But what I was told was that you're supposed to be a giver. You're supposed to be able to minister, go to people who are in less fortunate situations and be a blessing to those people. But you got your boss who sit up there with a cross on her wall and tell you that she a Christian, but won't give you an elevation in your job. The devil is a liar. Right. You know what I'm saying? How can you sit here? I had one lady, and I'll never forget this story, and people that know me, I worked with people with special needs before, and this lady had the nerve to sit up here and tell me, Andre, when she came back through, I better not be sitting down. Andre, I was training a client. But the way that she spoke to me that day was the last day I worked at that job, okay? Because why would you disrespect me when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do? Right. But because I'm a person of color, you think
I'm just sitting down.
You think I'm just I'm a lazy. When I've outworked y'all, and so Andrea had 2 full-time jobs at this time. So you think I'm lazy?
And you're training a person at the same time. You don't even know what I'm doing.
Hey, Jonathan. But you can't tell me you think that I'm lazy. Get out of here. But it's like, that's the type of stuff that we deal with.
Yeah.
You know, I don't hear my Caucasian friends talk about like their bosses to the degree that we talk, or we have to say that they came to us and it was so inappropriate that I felt so uncomfortable that I wanted to go home and cry. You can't say that to anybody, because even if you go to HR is on their side.
Yeah.
They work for them.
Yeah.
They don't work for you.
Nope.
You know, so it's like, at what point in time in this society that we live in Champaign County that we live in, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, Jonathan said respect trumps everything. And you're right. But we're not even getting the respect that we are duly deserving on a lot of these jobs, right? And like I was just talking about, a lot of these jobs, a lot of these, you know what I'm saying? Why are there more white people on food stamps if white people got better? Because white people are the majority of the population. That's why more white people are on food stamps, Chad. I've worked in social services, trust me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's not better treatment. Everybody goes through suffrage. I'm not saying just because white people are on food stamps does not mean that they don't get better treatment. I'm saying they treat them better in positions of power on jobs. They're more likely to get the promotion than a person of color. But you know what I'm saying? There's not a debate with that. If white people are the majority of the population of the United States of America, that makes sense that there would be more of them on food stamps, correct? That's just it's just
the numbers.
It's just the numbers,
yeah.
Right? But we're talking about promotionary things. We're talking about things in the aspect of where people will get out promoted versus a person that has something or has a degree. They would rather promote someone within their own circumference, is what I've seen. And you can't negate my opinion, because this is my show and it's my opinion.
Yeah. That's real life.
But you know, the majority of African American people that I know have experienced this as well.
Yeah, ask any.
And you know, my kids they're working to this day. My children are in their 30s and they're experiencing this as well. So that's not what I'm saying. There's not a differentiation in what people get services and what people don't. You know what I'm saying? All of us get services across the board, right? But there are certain things that occur, is what I'm saying, that once those certain things occur, we don't get a promotion. We don't get elevated into the degree that we need to get elevated into in order to make our children's lives and our lives better. That's what I'm saying. That's an unfair treatment that all of us get. I haven't seen one person say they didn't have to work twice as hard. Well, why do I got to work twice as hard?
Why do I got to do 3 different jobs?
Why
I got to be in shipping and receiving in the morning and then on the floor later? That's 2 different jobs. I only get paid for one.
But Kiwi, get out of there. If I heard you will get screwed, I would grow up with a why try mentality. And that's how we grow up, Chad. We grow up with a why try. And that's why you have a lot of men who get out here on the streets and would rather hustle and think that's the easiest way out. Because you already been kicked down. But see, the difference is between a minority. But if you don't understand our truth, you can't understand what we go through. Which is why I'm having this conversation. And Kiwi, you almost 30. You 26, 27. Stop playing with me. And Jonathan, I know it's a fact. But I'm just explaining myself. If you know what, that's why why would you think that I would have to work 2 full-time jobs as a single mom to make it? Because I can't get promoted on one job or the other where I could, even though I got the degree, where I could make it. You know what I'm saying? So there are several different facets of things that we can delve into, but until you've like literally walked this walk, it's a struggle. It gets you frustrated. You get upset. You get angry knowing that all the work that you put in, you know what I'm saying? All the work, all the sacrifices that you do, you will never amount to making that amount of money. Even though you got a degree, we still get degrees. We still get the degree and get the lower end of the spectrum paying job, because you can look that up through data. That's data that's been collected. African American women can still, even though we get the degrees, we still don't get that job that pays us sufficiently on the same equal playing field as our white counterpart.
Even with a better schooling, they go to a worse school and get better.
I'm telling you, this is not something that I made up. This is something that I've lived through. Andre, you've lived through this. Yeah. And if I ask 50 people in a row, we all got the same story. Why do we all got the same story?
Yeah, we ask Caucasian people, what are you talking about?
And then, I had a friend that had no formal education, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? But was elevated into a position of power. And I'm like, this girl making $100,000 a year while I'm still out here struggling with a degree. Right. A couple of them. With education, a couple of them. And not, oh my God, with the experience, with the good attitude, with the great attendance and everything, and still can't get elevated to that position. Right. But until you understand it and you walk in your friend's shoes, you know what I'm saying? This will be like a story that goes on and on forever. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and I'm not telling you that anybody should give up. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting it in their heads to give up. You know what I'm saying? The purpose is that I'm explaining the situation is that everybody can resonate with it that are people of color. Right. And if it's not you personally, it's somebody in your house. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody in your lineage. So it's like, we sit here and go through a dynamic where, you know what, we want things to work out and to be great. We always have a good attitude about every single thing, but why do I always have to wear the fake smile every day? Right. Why can't I sit in my aggression? But if I go to work and look like I'm angry, then I'm the angry black woman. Right.
And then you're unapproachable.
Then I'm not, unapproachable. You get demarcations because you don't have a smile on your face every day. This is the old slave mentality. You couldn't even be in public and laugh. You know? Right. But you want me to hide my emotions when it's okay for you to come in and slam things around. It's okay for you to slam the door and tell people you don't want and have a bad attitude. Nobody will remember that. Nobody really cares. But if I do it one time, Andre, it will go on and on and on about how I was this way.
Yeah, are you going to do that today?
Right.
Are you going to do it the next day?
Right. But see, those are the different things. You know what I'm saying? Those are the different things that we have to go through. You know, like I said, it has been Afternoons with Delight. I thank all of you for getting on with me this afternoon. I appreciate the engagement. Thanks, Chad, for being on. Thanks, Jonathan. Thank Kiwi, Kieris, my child. Bree, thanks so much for getting on. Tormaine, I appreciate you. But it is almost 4:00, guys. I appreciate the encounter, the engagement. CL Robinson, thanks for being on with me today. Chad Steinberg, you had the majority of the chat. Thanks a lot for being on. Damien, I appreciate you being on. Charles, thanks so much for being on. Dennis, cousin Dennis Starks, I appreciate you. But thanks again. Like I said, it is 4:00 now. And everybody have a great afternoon. You have been on live with Afternoons with Delight. See you next week.
This is your boy, DJ BJ Clark, with the After Work Drive Show, right here on 104.5.
Yes, we're done.
I want to invite.
Thanks a lot for getting on with me, guys, today. I appreciate you. But Chad, you cannot, I'm telling you, it's hard out here. It is
Right
super,
here
super hard
on
out here, man.
WRFU 104.5
I could tell you a lot of
FM.
different stories. If we could ever meet and talk one day, I would be so very glad to do so. Because I can tell you, friend, this is not that party.
Is an open
It's really
forum for
not.
Urbana Champaign
You know,
and community.
most of the
Views
times
expressed are
I've
those
been
of the
frustrated
speakers and are not
exponentially
intended to represent
by this
WRFU,
city.
UCINC.
And this is Champaign, Urbana.
That being said, we can get
But
right
thanks
to
again,
today's
like I
show.
said, for tuning in,
What's going on
everybody.
out there?
I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great afternoon. Everybody, we're about to be out of here. Have a good one. Bye.